By the end of this video, you'll start seeing sitting down differently. Sitting might seem harmless, but what if I tell you, you are actually killing yourself when you sit down every day for more than an hour at a time? And it's not just sitting at your desk job, I'm talking watching TV or even driving. Today we are revealing the top 7 hidden dangers of sitting too much and the simple steps you can take to avoid them. When you sit for long periods, your muscles, especially in your legs and glutes, aren't doing much work. They are not contracting, stretching or bearing any weight. Over time, this lack of activity can lead to muscle weakness and atrophy. That's a fancy way of saying your muscles start to waste away. But it's not just your muscles that suffer. Your bones are also feeling the effects of all that sitting. Weight-bearing activities stimulate bone formation and help maintain bone density. When you are sitting, you are not putting any stress on your bones, which can lead to decreased bone density over time. To put this in perspective, studies have shown that people who sit for more than 8 hours a day have a 20% higher risk of osteoporosis compared to those who sit for less than 4 hours. And get this, after just 2 weeks of being bedridden, young men lost about 1% of their bone mass in their hips. Imagine what years of excessive sitting could do. The good news is that your body is incredibly adaptable. Even small amounts of weight-bearing activity can make a big difference. Try standing up every hour and doing some simple exercises like squats or lunges, or consider a standing desk for part of your workday. Your muscles and bones will thank you by staying strong and supportive well into your golden years. Remember, your body is designed for movement, so give it what it craves. A little action now and then. Your future self will thank you when you are still strong and mobile long after your peers have started to slow down. When you sit for hours on end, day after day, you are increasing your risk of cardiovascular disease. That includes heart attacks, strokes and other heart-related problems. But how exactly does sitting lead to heart trouble? You see, prolonged sitting decreases the production of an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. This enzyme helps break down fats in your bloodstream. So when you are not producing enough of it, those fats can build up in your arteries, leading to atherosclerosis. That's when your arteries get hard and narrow. To put this into perspective, studies have shown that people who sit for more than 8 hours a day have a 20% higher risk of heart disease and premature death compared to those who sit for less than 4 hours. That's a pretty significant jump for just a few extra hours of both in chair time. But here's the kicker. Even if you exercise regularly, long periods of sitting can still increase your risk. It's not just about how much you move, but also about how little you sit. So next time you are binge watching your favorite show, remember to get up and move around between episodes. Your heart will beat a little happier for it. When you sit for long periods, your body's ability to manage blood sugar levels takes a hit. Your muscles, especially those big ones in your legs, play a crucial role in regulating blood glucose. But when they are inactive for hours on end, they become less active at absorbing glucose from your bloodstream. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance. That's when your cells don't respond well to insulin, the hormone that helps glucose enter your cells. As a result, your blood sugar levels rise, and boom, you are on your path to type 2 diabetes. Now let's crunch some numbers. Research suggests that for every 2 hours you spend sitting per day, your risk of developing type 2 diabetes increases by 7%. That might not sound like much, but it adds up fast. If you are sitting for 8 hours a day, which many of us do at work, that's a 28% increased risk. But here's the sweeter piece of news. Small changes can make a big difference. A study found that interrupting sitting time with short bouts of light walking every 30 minutes can lower blood sugar levels by up to 30% compared to uninterrupted sitting. That's right, a quick stroll around the office could be your secret weapon against diabetes. Prolonged sitting has also been linked to an increased risk of depression, anxiety, and overall decreased mental well-being. But how can your chair be affecting your mood? Well, it's a combination of factors. First, when you sit for long periods, you are likely to be less physically active overall. Exercise is a non-mood booster, releasing endorphins that help fight off depression and anxiety. When you are not moving, you are missing out on those natural mood elevators. Secondly, sitting for long stretches often means you are spending a lot of time indoors, possibly in front of screens. This can lead to reduced exposure to sunlight and nature, both of which are important for mental health. Let's put this into perspective with some numbers. One study found that adults who sat for more than 6 hours a day were more likely to experience depressive symptoms compared to those who sat for less than 3 hours. Another study showed that reducing sitting time by just 1 hour per day led to a 10% improvement in mental health. But here's the kicker. The relationship between sitting and mental health appears to be bidirectional. Feeling down can make you more likely to sit for longer periods, which in turn can worsen your mood. It's a vicious cycle. The good news is that breaking this cycle can be simpler than you might think. Try incorporating short walks into your day, even if it's just a quick stroll around your home or office. Remember, your mind and body are connected. By taking care of your physical health through movement, you are also nurturing your mental well-being. When you sit for long periods, especially if you are hunched over a computer, you are putting a lot of stress on your back muscles and spine. Your neck cranes forward, your shoulders round, and your lower back takes an unnatural curve. Over time, this can lead to chronic back pain, neck strain, and even herniated discs. To put this in perspective, studies have shown that up to 80% of adults experience low back pain at some point in their lives, and prolonged sitting is a major contributor. In fact, people who sit for more than 8 hours a day are twice as likely to develop chronic back pain compared to those who sit for less than 4 hours. But here's the real eye-opener. For every inch your head moves forward, the weight on your spine increases by about 10 pounds. So if you are sitting with your head tilted 3 inches forward, which is common when looking at your phone or laptop, that's like having a 30-pound weight hanging from your neck. The good news is you don't have to throw out your chair to save your spine. Simple adjustments can make a big difference. Try setting a reminder to check your posture every hour. Make sure your computer screen is at eye level, your feet are flat on the floor, and your back is supported. And don't forget to stand up and stretch regularly. Research has shown that prolonged sitting is associated with a high risk of colon cancer, breast cancer, and endometrial cancer. But how can simply sitting in a chair lead to such a serious disease? Well, it's all about what's happening inside your body when you are inactive for long periods. When you sit for hours on end, it affects your body's ability to regulate certain hormones and process certain chemicals. For example, excessive sitting has been linked to increased levels of insulin and decreased levels of vitamin D, both of which can contribute to cancer development. Studies have found that for every 2 hours spent sitting per day, the risk of colon cancer increases by 8%, and the risk of endometrial cancer increases by 10%. For breast cancer, women who sit for more than 6 hours a day have a 10% higher risk compared to those who sit for less than 3 hours. Now, before you throw out all your chairs in a panic, remember these are all relative risks. The absolute risk of developing cancer from sitting is still relatively low. Plus, there are many other factors that contribute to cancer risk, including genetics, diet, and overall lifestyle. The good news is that even small changes can make a big difference. Research suggests that replacing just 30 minutes of sitting with light physical activity can lower the risk of death from cancer by 8%. Numerous studies have linked prolonged sitting to a higher risk of premature death from all causes. Yes, sitting too much doesn't just increase your risk of specific health problems, it can actually shorten your life overall. But how can simply sitting in a chair be so deadly? Well, it's not the act of sitting itself that's the problem, but rather the cascade of health issues that come with a sedentary lifestyle. We've already talked about how sitting increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and other health problems. All of these factors contribute to a reduced life expectancy. Let's put this into perspective with some sobering statistics. One study found that adults who sat for more than 11 hours a day had a 40% increased risk of dying in the next 3 years compared to those who sat for less than 4 hours a day. Another study estimated that reducing sitting time to less than 3 hours a day could increase life expectancy by an average of 2 years. Now, before you panic and throw out all your chairs, remember that these are statistical averages and individual results can vary. Plus, other lifestyle factors like diet, stress levels, and genetics also play important roles in longevity. The good news is that even small changes can make a big difference. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that replacing just 30 minutes of sitting time with light physical activity could lower your risk of early death by 17%. So, what can you do to add years to your life? It's simple. Sit less and move more. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Have walking meetings instead of sitting in a conference room. Remember, it's not about never sitting down again. It's about finding a balance and incorporating more movement into your day. In the end, it all comes down to this. Your body is designed for movement. By giving it the activity it craves, you are not only adding years to your life, you are adding life to your years. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Or you can check this other video instead, and I will see you there.